What is your controversial D&D pet peeve? Let us know in the comments below. Don't hold back now. Generally, good advice tends to become prescribed or proscribed behavior that must never be questioned. This isn't a D&D problem so much as a whenever specialized communities discuss their interests problem. You can make just about every bad idea work. You can make a DMPC work. You can make splitting the party work. You can make crazy high stats or rolling for stats work. Now, should you try without putting in a great deal of care and caution? No. Should you write everything off out of hand? Also no. I hate how once a player invests in something outside of combat, it just vanishes as a game mechanic. It's not the player's fault. They're taking the tools that the game provides them. It's just that those tools are lame design. Goodberry is the classic example. The DM has said that this campaign is going to be big on survival and foraging for food. I'll take this spell that the game designers created to aid with foraging for food. Oh, now we just have all our food needs covered forever, without me ever rolling a die. Guess I solved the campaign. I've also felt this with the observant feat basically solving the concept of hidden monsters, traps, or doors. There's still false appearance and magical invisibility, but using those against a player who specifically took the observant feat feels targeted. There's just no winning. Could be controversial for some people, even though it still rules as written, but I don't treat a nat 20 as an auto success on skill checks. I only do that in combat. I usually see people online treat a nat 20 as an automatic success no matter what, because Brennan Lee Mulligan does it, but I'm not a fan of doing that. The rule of fun is paramount to me. If it makes the game more challenging at the expense of fun, it's not good. The only exception to this is if at session 0, everyone agrees to a more challenging experience, then it's fine. Think of it as playing a video game with difficulty settings with a hardcore option. Hardcore is very punishing and not for everyone, but some choose to play it. At the end of the day, players and the DM should have a clear understanding about what they want from the game because it's about having a good time. I don't know if it's controversial, but at a certain point, you just have to open the door or push the button or pull the lever. You're adventurers. You should embrace the adventure. And, to be clear, I don't mean just jump willy-nilly into obvious danger. Absolutely think about the situation and plan within reason accordingly. But surprises and even failure can lead to a lot of fun that you didn't even know was an option. Embrace that you're not real people with real mortal limitations and try stuff out. Rogue discourse. Yes, rogues sneaking around and sticking people with daggers should be doing less damage than the raging barbarian swinging a great axe. That's not bad design. If anything, a rogue doing as much damage as a fighter or barbarian would be unfair to those classes. I'll take the dip in damage because sneak attacks just feel more fun, plus all my fun out-of-combat utility. You're better off playing, No, you know what? You can just stop talking right there, thanks. There's too many exotic races and it turns every party into a furry convention. I see tabaxi and turtles more than elves and dwarves. You know what? That's gonna get a lot of flack in the comments. I can see it now. D&D is a fine system for what it is, but if you want something other than what it is, you should play a different RPG system. D&D 5th edition is a high magic, high fantasy, superheroic system where the player characters are almost never in danger of dying or suffering long-term consequences and can shrug off superhuman amounts of injury. Combat is flat and sticky, mostly involving trading hits until one side falls down. That's what D&D 5th edition is. If you want a game where combat is more lethal, play a different system. If you want a game where there are lingering injuries, debuffs, more risks in combat, more options in combat, play a different system. If you want a game where magic is rare, everything is difficult, and things are gritty, play a different system. If you want a sci-fi game or a Wild West game, or a game about investigating otherworldly alien beings of incomprehensible horror, play a different system. D&D does what it does really well. If you ever wanted to play a medieval superhero fighting a magical beast the size of a school bus and not being turned into a red smear on the ground, D&D is your game. If you want to fight wave after wave of ugly humanoids until you are doing a battle atop of a pile of their corpses, D&D is your game. If you want to fight your way through the armies of hell and punch the devil in his dick, D&D can do that really well. But the whole, I want to play a game set in the Fallout game setting with radiation and starvation and mutations and high risks of dying from being shot even once, but I want to use D&D 5th edition, is just stupid and wrong and stupidly wrong. When players don't accessorize properly. Oh, I understand those boots, gloves, and armor all give you nice bonuses, but you look ridiculous when nothing matches. And wearing white after Midsummer Festival is a major fashion faux pas. My DM revealed, after 6 years of playing with our group, that he hates it when we announce a D20 plus modifiers as insert 20. He says if someone rolls a natural 20, they should get excited and point it out. If we roll, say, a 17 with a +3 modifier, we should just say 20, and our lack of excitement will be enough to let everyone know it isn't a natural 20. I don't like rolling for permanent stats because if you roll low, then it feels like shit all campaign, and if you roll high, then it's fun, but being steamrolling everything gets boring, and if you have PCs who rolled low and PCs who roll high, then it can feel like they're on a different level, which is ass. I also hate opportunity attacks because they just lock you in place and make combat boring because you shouldn't move. Disengage takes an action for most PCs, which means you can't do much else and then the enemy catches up to you on their turn. I wish they'd be less common or you'd have more options to disengage. Literally one of the funnest combats I've played was a Shadow Monk at night, which I meant I could Shadow Step, bonus action teleport 60 feet anywhere in dim lighting, aka everywhere in the night, so I could run fast as fuck, boy, hit them, and then bonus action teleport away, and I'd escape them all the time. Don't get me wrong, it was definitely overpowered, but if there isn't dim lighting everywhere, then you have to be more strategic, which is cool. Another thing I dislike is how rare ASIs or feats are. If there aren't any feats that are good for your character, then it feels like you're missing out on cool customization that is more unique than slightly bigger bonuses on D20s. If there are feats that are good for your character, then you either get the cool feat or the stat increase, so you either get the cool feat, but your character doesn't get better stats than a low-level character, or it's the same as the first scenario. Feats that are more roleplay and flavorful, like Observant, Actor, Keen Mind, and whatnot, are cool in theory because they give your player cool and unique abilities that aren't obtainable otherwise. But it also doesn't make you progress in combat, so it can feel like you're falling behind the other PCs. In general, requiring checks for trivial stuff that my character should just be able to do without risk. Even if the DC is 2, I shouldn't have a 5% chance of failing to do something we all learned to do as toddlers. I find it's mostly new DMs that do this, and most grow out of it. But come on, you don't need to roll dice for everything. I hate not having any goal. Like, come on, we're level 8 and have had nothing but side quests, and we just finished one and have nothing else to be doing. No Dreadlord to take down or whatever. Give me some red wizards and a Zycon. Our current only malevolent NPC is some random tiefling teenager doing community service at an animal shelter who we reroute to going back to kill for being so annoying whenever we have no other plans. If I were DMing and I had asked the players to take notes, had to repeat the same information multiple times a session, and generally didn't get the sense that the players cared to engage in the world I made for them, I would make you roll intelligence to remember shit too. My biggest pet peeve is punching bag characters. I cannot stand people making a joke of their character or making a joke of someone else's character. Now, I'm all for jokes and laughing, haha, but I need a little bit of substance too. DMs who ban spells just because they break their game, literally just plan around them. My case in point right here. You have an issue with counterspell? Use mook casters. Bait out reactions. Give more reasons to use counterspell, and then suddenly there's less counterspell being used because now the counterspeller has to evaluate risk and reward. I've never had an issue with counterspell because I plan at least 3 to 4 casters per adventuring day. My big bad evil guys still get to do their fun stuff because the caster has to double check to make sure counterspell is the right play or not. Happened just last week, in fact. I baited out a shield from the sorcerer, which allowed me to let one of the goons dimension door away with a political hostage. Like, it's not some game-breaking spell if you just account for it. Oh, I've got a handful. Let me hear it, Scotty. Rolling for stats. Unless you employ some sort of safety net or let a player roll 2 arrays, rolling stats sucks balls. It imbalances the party dynamics, makes balancing a nightmare combat-wise, and can really pigeonhole a player into feeling forced into certain classes if they rolled poorly. Anything that's mad, like Monk, is basically off the table if you roll poorly. That's bullshit. Int checks for memory. Stupid angle shooty gotcha bullshit. We're all human and have lives outside the game. Unless you have someone who is straight up not paying attention, these are completely unnecessary. Charisma checks for sound arguments. A bit more contentious this one, but I think it's petty to make an engaged participating player who is genuinely trying to make an argument to an NPC through logic and reason have to leave it up to chance. Why make me waste my breath and brain power if it was all going to come down to a roll of the dice? I'm okay with sliding scales or rolls being there for those who aren't great with words, but God, give me a break. Oh yeah, man, your argument's outstanding, but you rolled a 2. Haha, whoops, lol. Non-magical resistance. Glad this is getting phased out of a lot of Tier 2 monsters in 2024. It's an awful mechanic. Now on paper, it shouldn't be that much of a problem, but a lot of game masters and more importantly module designers do not understand nor care that martial classes like Rogue, Fighter, and Barbarian scale with magical items, especially weapons. Per the intended pace of the game, a +1 weapon should more than likely be in the hands of most martials by level 7 or 8 so they can keep pace with casters. Sadly, most game masters ignore this, as do most modules, locking very essential tools behind crippling curses, punishing encounters, and sadistic traps. You know how casters scale? By leveling up. And then people wonder why the valley between casters and martials is such a pain point for people. You're literally ignoring an essential game mechanic. There may be more, but these 4 are my chief amongst nonsense I've seen accepted by the games community. Hey everyone, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and if you ever want to support the channel, you can 1. Let us know in the comments below what your controversial D&D pet peeve is. 2. Follow us on all of our socials, mine being Brian Von VA. Come say hi anywhere today. And 3. Joining our membership program. With YouTube being a true pain in the rear, you can help us keep making videos by joining us down there. We love you all. Please be safe, happy, and healthy. We'll see you next time. Toodaloo for now.